Hello, my name is Jagdish Haripalli. Today I'm here to give a demo on my project image classification using AWS SageMaker and S3 on behalf of Team Cloud Alliance. So let's first look at the architecture of our project. So we have designed the architecture using the Lucid Chat app, and we deploy an image classification algorithm into the SageMaker notebook and access the dataset to the S3. The SageMaker notebook runs the model and exports the model to the SageMaker endpoint. So this SageMaker endpoint will be referred in the Lambda function. So when we use a third-party tool to call the API gateway, so here we create an API gateway that calls the Lambda function. The Lambda function in turn calls the SageMaker endpoint with the input URL of the image that we are giving and returns the predicted image back to the user. So this is how the whole project works. So let's further look into how we did everything, each and every step, using our AWS account. So going further, so here we have created an API, so you can see the invoke URL here. So for our project, and this API is configured in such a way that it calls the Lambda function as soon as it's triggered from a third-party tool or from with the help of a curl request. So when this API triggers a Lambda function, so the API takes an input of the image URL. So in the Lambda function, we process the image URL and pass it as an input to the endpoint, and the endpoint processes it through the model and gives us the prediction of what kind of image it is, and it's written back to the API again, and the API sends it back to the third-party tool that we are using. So all the code we are using is hosted into a SageMaker notebook instance. So we are using an MC5 4x large instance to run, and so when we have run this code, so we could successfully deploy our model to the endpoint. So this endpoint we are referring back here, if you can see. So yeah, so that's how, so this trained model deployed as an endpoint is being used to do some inference learning and stuff. So the other most important thing is to perform all these things, we need a rule that can work, that can make all these three work together, like this S3, the SageMaker, and the Lambda. So we made sure the Lambda has AWS Lambda execute in order for it to execute the endpoint. So it has SageMaker full access and S3 full access as well. So now let's further test our page. So here we can see a building image. Before that, to test it with third-party tool, we need the invoke URL. So let me take this and give it here, and let me, so this is an example of a building image. So I'm taking the building image and giving it as an input over here, and let's call the API and see what it returns. So here we can see that it successfully predicted it as a building. Now let's try with something else. So this is an image of a sea. So when we send an image of a sea, so we could see here, we could successfully predict it as a sea. So we have run this test on various images, and we have created a few curl requests as well. So let's see how the curl requests went. So I have added everything to a readme file and a GitHub. So you could see for a building image, we could successfully predict it as a building, and for the sea, we could successfully predict it as sea. So now let's test out a curl request for a glacier. So if we send the image URL of a glacier, we should be able to predict it as a glacier. So I open my terminal here, and I posted my curl request, and when I click on search, I can see that it successfully predicted my image as a glacier. So let's take one more example, like this is a forest image, so I took it, so I pasted it over here. So when I execute it, so the image predicted is the forest. So this is how we came to confirmation that our model is working fine. We got up to a 90% accuracy with the model. So that's it with the demo. Thank you.